I'm so glad you can join us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I'm gonna turn off the comments, everybody, because we have a structured interview. So, and we don't want to overwhelm with like a whole bunch of questions and everything, but you can just, you can say hi right now. So we're going to, hi, Andrew. So first of all, Sinead Phelps, if you could please introduce yourself, who you play, your role in the season 2 of Interview with the Vampire, and where you come from. Just a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, as you said, my name's Sinead, and I played Annika Rooman in season 2 of Interview with the Vampire, which was episode 2, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I'm originally from England, but I live in Prague in the Czech Republic, and that's me.
That's awesome. So, and you also were the director's assistant. Was it for the whole season?
Yeah.
Was it for all the episodes?
It was for all 3 actors, but it was mainly for 11. We kind of connected the most, and I kind of stuck to each other like glue throughout the process. No, it was for all 3 of the directors. So it was for Craig, for Levin, and for Emma. But mostly Levin directed the most episodes, I think. So we worked. He was in Prague for the longest, so we were together.
Okay.
Pretty much the whole time. Yeah.
To those who don't know, me and Sinead actually met in Prague.
We did. I was just retelling the story earlier about how I met you. Yeah. I was like, just found you like wandering along the streets, like whilst we were like setting up on location one day, and I was like, who is this person?
I know. I didn't even know I was going to be treated like a celebrity. So
no, we were just like, we love this girl. Let's like get her onto the set so she can like meet people. Like.
Yeah, it was. You were just as surprised as I was. So
yeah,
no, it was great. And so for your role as Annika Rooman, I want to know how that came about. Like, was that something planned, or did something happen? I just want to know how that came about.
I missed the very first part of that question because of the connection. How did what come about?
How did your role as Annika Rooman come about?
Working in production, like as the assistant to the directors and as the script coordinator. But I am an actor primarily. So I auditioned for like a smaller role, which was like featured in maybe episode 4. There's like a montage scene of other victims being killed whilst there's like a voiceover between Armand. And it was a role called like Dottie or something. So it was kind of a similar scene to the Annika scene, but in English. So I just sent off the tape. And then I got like 2 days later, I got a text message from Roland just being like, oh my God, you have to be Annika. And I was like, no, I don't. I was like, no, I don't have to be Annika. I was like, let me be Dottie. Please don't let me be Annika. I was like, I can't. I was like, this is like too much. And then like Levin turned up like in kind of the staff kitchen the next day. And he was like, Sinead, you have to be Annika. And I was like, oh God. And then like I like thought about it and I was like, no, I want to be Dottie. And then I thought about it more. I was like, nah, whatever. I can do it. Like, let's do it. I was most worried about the speaking Dutch, like the Flemish. I was like, how am I going to pull this off? But I agreed to do it because I was like, it would be silly not to. And I'm already going to be there anyway. Yeah. So yeah, that's how it came about. Yeah.
You're like there's always a story, and I've learned more and more of Roland putting people into like what's that word? Or pushing boundaries.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
In a very like polite way, but yeah.
Whereas it's like getting out. Sorry, the word I was looking for was getting out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like a push, but in a very nice environment, and I was really glad I did it in the end.
That's awesome. And I wanted to know what was it like working with Ben Daniels with that during that scene? Did you guys have a lot of discussion about it?
Yeah, I mean, he's amazing. Like, he's so fun to work. Like, you wouldn't think it if you watch the scene, but between every take, we were laughing, like, which is ridiculous. Like, we'd be doing like the most horrific thing, and then we'd be like, "Darling, stop! That's so silly. What are you doing?" Like, he's great. Yeah, we had rehearsals like before we were shooting, so I got to meet him then. And I didn't even realize we were like in a scene together on a different show like the year before, but we never filmed on the same day, so I never met him. And he was like, "I know you," and I was like, "No, you don't." Uh, and then he was like, "Yeah, I do. We were both in foundation," and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Sorry." Uh,
Oh, okay.
I feel like I should have known him. But he's lovely. So we had rehearsals, and obviously we had like a lot of time with the intimacy coordinator to like figure out how we are going to shoot that scene. So yeah, but he's so great. I love him a lot.
That's really, really cool. And
Yeah.
thank you for sharing this.
Hi, Sinead. Black Girl Talk,
Hi.
Fangs. Hi. Thank you, like what Ray was saying, thank you for joining us. I will say that when I saw your character in episode two, it really reminded me a lot of the 1994 film with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, and really Armand, played by Antonio Banderas. That scene when I was younger it always stuck with me because it's erotic, it's scary, it's horror. And so I was like, I don't know how AMC is going to bring this scene to life. And then I saw your performance, and you were just so convincing. And it wasn't salacious, it wasn't gratuitous. It really felt like a seduction, And I was just wondering if you had, in your preparation for that scene, for that role of Annika, if you had looked at the 1994 film and that specific scene with Antonio Banderas and pulled anything from that as a reference for your interpretation of that scene.
I mean, I watched it like before I think I accepted the role. Um, like not so much actually. Like I feel like the film's style is so different to the TV show that they're kind of different. They're almost different genres in a way. So not really. Like I watched it just to see how it had been done before, but I think Levin was taking it in a very different direction anyway. And it was like in the film there's a lot of just like kind of flailing around topless, which I didn't want to do personally. uh so not really. I think kind of the opposite. We were like real direction of it, like how terrified kind of human being get, uh kind of thing. And that like was where we went with it, just pain and sadness and being deeply deeply afraid.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
I
and
can't.
then like the nudity kind of then is like second to it, I think, as well, which was kind of interesting as well to see how that plays
Yeah.
out.
I do like that it wasn't necessary for the story to, and I'm not trying. I hope I'm saying this in the most like respectful way. That it's not so like the exposition of women in horror is like it's kind of a trope, and like that it wasn't necessary to show fear and, like you said, sadness for that scene. Like uh it's like, because it's such a, yeah, it's such a common thing that we say, especially in the movie. And it's like, no, you can die with with some clothes on.
Yeah, you can.
you know
You can. And I
That's a
and
good
like
way
I
to
don't know, like
put it, Ray.
yeah, you can dye
You
a
got some
dress.
clothes
You
on.
can dye a dress. You can. Like actually people do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of funny actually, like because there was a lot more. I don't know if I haven't seen like if it's different in like the uncensored cut of season two, but it has been censored a lot, my scene.
Yeah.
Like from what we filmed to what's being shown. Like
Yeah.
I mean I just know because I was there, but like my hair was like this length when we shot it. So I was topless, and then in the show my hair's here. It's like
Yeah.
CGI'd.
You
I
have
was
CGI
Like
wondering
your
upside
about
down.
that.
And I was like, oh.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too. I was like,
Yeah.
does she know that her hair changes length?
Yeah, no, I was like, it's because like they just like I guess like it was too, maybe it was like too much. Like they just decided, I guess in the editing thing, like it was just too much to like,
Wow. I
yeah.
think
So it was topless. I don't know if there is a version where it still will
that
be.
as far
Uh,
as I know, no,
yeah.
it's the same.
I think it
So
might have just been like too, like just too. It's already pretty horrific. There might have been
it's
like, put her
like
boobs away. It's
there's
just too
not
much.
needed. If it's
Yeah,
not needed, then why
yeah,
bother?
exactly.
So
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's
I
like
think that's
fine either way. I think it's just funny that I'm just like
yeah.
here in one scene, and
Right.
I'm like,
That's right there. Yeah. Like, when did she grow 2 inches or 3 inches of
yeah.
hair
Just
in a 5
fear.
seconds?
The fear makes your hair grow so fast.
I love that there's. I mean, they did a good job. I wouldn't have guessed that it was. I thought it was like I don't know, like glue or
No,
tape or
like
something.
they just did
CGI.
it. Like someone like hand painted. Like I don't know. Like it was
That's
crazy.
funny.
Yeah. It was
So
good. I mean, I was
um,
happy. I was like, I'm always happy to not have my boobs out on TV. So I was like, cool,
I
fine
mean,
by me.
yeah, that's it
I was like,
that's
either way, like,
yeah.
That brings me to, speaking of, the extensions of your character. I'm trying to segue there. So can you share, you shared a little bit about, you touched on this a little bit about working with an intimacy coordinator. And then I guess was curious if you had any, if you worked with Carol Cutshaw, the costume designer, at all, or if you had any input on what Annika's costume would be, just because, obviously it's not, it's very revealing. So I'm just curious if you had any input on that.
I think like the basics of the costume like were picked out, like the skirt and the top. Um, and then our biggest issue was there was like a line in the script that it's like at some point like her button just like pops open and the top falls down, and it was like, how do we do this was basically our biggest thing. So we were like trying to find a way in this top to be like, well, if the button's on, it's not just gonna like spontaneously pop off, but like they wanted this moment of like the exposure. I think this moment of like she's already vulnerable and then like it just falls down, and we were just like finding weird ways, and then like we were like taping it a little bit, and then I was like, well, if I like shrug at that moment and it's like just a little bit stuck, then maybe it'll fall there. And we're just kind of experimenting mainly with that with that screen direction was the main thing we were figuring out together, how to do that. And I think in the end, yeah, we just had like a little bit of like double-sided tape on the inside. I can't even remember if that, I don't think that moment is in the cut actually. Maybe you don't get that exact
No,
thing, but like,
it's not. Yeah, it's not. It's
yeah, I think
just
it's
you
just like
holding.
1 second it's there and then it's not there. Like, yeah, I think it obviously didn't, we didn't pull it off. Uh, but we tried. We
I mean,
tried
a
to
lot of
pull it
thought
off.
went into it.
Yeah, we did. We're trying to like stay true to the script. So we were like, it says it, we want to like do it. But it's hard because like you've got like the ties on your wrist, and then they're meant to fall, or they were meant to fall off at one point as well. Like I think Ben Daniels like kind of does something like this, and then like the ropes like just magically fall off. So we had these magnetic ropes that made it look like my hands were tied, but I could actually just like do this at
Oh,
any point kind of thing.
wow.
Yeah, there was a lot of like tiny little details like that that we really, because it was theater. Like a lot of the show is, it's TV, but this was like we were on a stage and it was
Wow.
theatrical, and we had to do little theater tricks to make everything work the way the script wanted it to work. Yeah, yeah,
Wow, that's really
yeah,
cool.
yeah. A really great costume team though.
So like when you finally get like eaten by everybody, was everybody just kind of like staring at you at the end of the cut? Like,
Yeah, kind of. I mean, we shot it. I think we shot that whole scene over something like 3 days, and then maybe like one pickup day. It was like a long time to shoot a scene like that.
yeah.
So they weren't on the stage the whole time, and also because like there was some like semi nudity, there was a lot of closed set stuff as well. So it would just be me and Ben. Um, but yeah, though I guess like there would be that moment just before they appeared where they would all just be like standing there, yeah, ready to pounce. And that was really funny because the whole thing was very choreographed up until that moment. And we worked like really, like Kat Hardman was the intimacy coordinator, and she's just I would just love to give her a shout out. Best intimacy coordinator I've ever worked with. She made it so fun and like relaxing and safe, and she was just like there for you every single step of the way. But that moment was ridiculous because like how do you coordinate like 12 people like jumping on top of you whilst and like dragging you to the floor whilst you're screaming? And I just got to the point where I was like, I was like, I love these guys, the Coven is awesome, I trust them completely, like we're all in this together, like we'll just like go for this one, like it's gonna be fine. And someone like bit my butt at one point accidentally because you just don't know like no one knows who they're grabbing. It's just like it was just
wow.
absolute hilarious
Oh, wow.
chaos. And I was just like at one point, and they all like help you up afterwards. I was like, sorry, someone like bit my butt cheek, and they're like, sorry, that might have been.
We didn't see that in the cut.
I love the level of pressure. Like, I'm so sorry, I accidentally.
It might have been me. It might have been me. It might have been Eggly, just to throw it out there.
Eggly, we're coming for you next. Eggly.
It's so funny. I love them all. Like it was completely like it was so fun working with them. That moment was always so ridiculous to me and funny and yeah.
It sounds so fun, even though like
it was really fun. Yeah, and it was like such a dark scene, but it was very fun to shoot at the same time. Like there were some moments where, like I think there was one point that like we were like doing it, and then Levin was like, I would like you to go to the darkest place you've ever been in your life. And I was like, oh no. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
and then I did, and then we were good. I was like, okay, we've got it now, right? Good.
Wow. And like I think that because it was the trailer where I first saw you as the character, and it was the part where you're staring directly at the camera, or because it's like you're calling for help from the audience, and that's what got me, is like you're just like pleading, like dear God, somebody help me, like staring.
And no one believes you. They think you're like a play. Yeah. It's like horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I think and I'm sorry to be biased, but like your scene is definitely going to stick with me more than the movie ever did, because of just like the way she really makes it, that she's really like pleading to the audience that like, no, you guys really gotta help me. But I also. I keep finding out little lore pieces from the Theatres members. So I'm curious, do you have a little piece of lore about Annika? Just in case. Or like,
I mean,
what happened to her husband? I'm just.
Well, we were always really curious. We were so curious. We're like, why is Annika like in Paris by herself? Like, where is her husband and her kid? So we came up with, like, I think it was just me and Ben were just like, she's having an affair. She's come to Paris. She's having an affair. What is she doing? Annika, why is she there by herself? What did she come all the way from Antwerp to Paris?
Oh,
caught in her hotel room.
Oh,
why was she there? Who was she with? She was there with one of the Coven.
That adds a little bit of guilt to it too, where she's oh my God, am I being punished? Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Annika.
Yeah. I mean, it's a silly lore. It doesn't have to be the real one, but it was funny. It was funny.
We eat it all up. I love it. I think it's great. I think it adds more to the story, and that's really cool. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
And so I'm jumping around a lot here, but I wanted to ask about being the director's assistant, because I'm aware of what a production assistant is. I've been a production assistant before, which is basically like you just do everything. but for a director's assistant, I just want to know, like, what does that look like? Because I don't really know how that's different from a production assistant.
Yeah, it was actually my first time I've been an assistant to like actors before, but I'd never been, this is my first time being a director's assistant. And it really depends, like each director really have different needs. You're kind of just there for what like some just need you to like update their calendar, some might want you to sit in with meetings. Like I got quite hands-on with Levin, but it was mostly because we just got on so well also. So I'd like just sit in on meetings and crack jokes and bring lunch and coffees and take notes, and make like just kind of help with the day-to-day stuff, and like pick up where maybe they're like distracted thinking on the creative side of the process, and I can like catch up on the admin side or something like that. It really depends, but like I don't know, it's kind of like I was like describing it as being a paid friend.
I was actually gonna ask that. I was like, it sounds like you're paying to be a friend.
Like, yeah, like Levin would always be like, "You're my best friend that's paid."
Aww.
So since this was your first time, did you learn anything from the
Yeah,
experience?
I mean, there was a lot, and like I definitely was like making a lot of mistakes at the beginning when I joined in, like that side of things, because like also like I am more of a creative, but like I do enjoy being on the other side of production as well. So there was just like a lot of just like being on top of someone else's schedule is like the main thing that you're doing, and like bringing food and eating food. It's great.
Well, you got to see, I mean, basically the whole process
Yeah,
of
from quite early on. Like I think I joined in at pre-production in maybe like February last year, something like that. And like I don't remember. I think we started shooting in like April or something. I can't quite remember. But yeah, like you're there in like all the pre-production meetings, which is really nice. Like seeing them kind of like design the costumes, and then like even not all of the scripts like maybe have been written at that point. So it is fun to see it from that. Like you feel very invested in the show when you're there from that early on. It's really nice.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah, it's really fun.
So I was asking Sinead, if you didn't take on the role of Annika, if there were any other roles that you would have wanted to play instead. And I know you mentioned another role you had auditioned for, but is there another role that you would have wanted to, to take?
I mean, there were so many fun roles in this season. I'm thinking like I think actually like really early on I actually auditioned for Eggly, like before I was even like part of the thing, because that was like a fun role. And then like the Madeline role is really nice as well, but I'm not French enough, I think. So, but that's a really nice role as well.
You
Yeah.
kind of look like Madeline. I can see it.
Right, right.
Uh,
My is not red enough right now.
did you take on, or did you take any mementos? I mean, not just as Annika, but did you just take on anything home that maybe wasn't going to be used for like the next season? So you're like, oh, they won't miss this if it disappears.
I don't think I did. I think I don't think I did. I'm trying to think. I actually don't think I did. Just damn it, I should have.
You should have.
I don't think I had so many opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, Levin had that picture of his cat right next to in one of the episodes with
yeah.
it was actually his cat Eugene, if I'm not mistaken, who passed away. And so I was like, that would have been a good memento, just for like you, hey bestie, I want to keep this just for
Aww, that would have been so nice. I didn't think about it at the time. It was a very busy time in my life. Yeah, I don't think I did. I had like, yeah, I kept my my I kept my nipple covers from when I was shooting Annika.
Nice.
That's like it, because they were really good quality ones.
Ooh, okay. I need to know the number. But you need to know the label or the product, like slide into my DM.
Yeah. I'll let you know. Really top-notch ones. Thank you, Kat. I think that's about it. I didn't get anything else.
That's great. I wanted to know what was. I always ask everybody this because there's always different stories about this. What was your reaction to the fandom response, or did you like take any part of seeing that? And did any of the reactions surprise you?
It was also like really, really nice. Like it's so nice to see, because like sometimes you'll like work on something, you'll be like, oh my God, is anyone gonna care? And like most of the time it's like, nope, they don't. And then this time it was really nice to like get like a really visible reaction for doing something that I really cared about doing. So it was really lovely, and I really appreciate everyone for following along with this. It's really, really nice.
Yeah. It's some people have you know, they have like didn't even know there was like a fan base, and then some of them knew but didn't like know the extent of it. Were you familiar with Anne Rice's work before starting the show?
Not really. Like I'd heard of Interview with the Vampire, but I hadn't like read anything or I watched season one just before I started working as an assistant, because I wanted to like be kind of vaguely aware of what I was coming into. But it wasn't until like you and other fans turned up in Prague that I was like, whoa, like this is fun. Like, because then there was like another day, like we were shooting at the Estates Theatre in Prague, and there was like three other ladies there just like hanging out, like just camped out, and I was like, oh man, this is like, I've never been on something where there's people really dedicated to this and like want to just like see what's going on, like traveling from like other countries. It was like crazy and really really nice. Yeah, so I had some inkling at that point. I was like, okay, this thing has a fan base.
Yeah, who would do something like that, right?
Do something like that.
Who would travel to Prague?
Yeah, but it's nice. It's nice to like things that much. I think it's really sweet.
Yeah,
I'm a fan of fans.
Yeah. It's you know, there's not, you know, we're not like Game of Thrones level or anything, but the smaller fan base that we are dedicated.
Yeah,
we're very
cool.
very passionate. You know, the cult following is very real. And then I kind of I forgot to ask you before when you were talking about your experience as a director's assistant, but I wanted to know, what was your favorite episode to work on? Well, aside from the one you were in.
Probably just trying to think. Like I didn't have much to do with episode 1 and 5, so I don't really know how they went so much because I was more like office based at that point. I think probably like the finale was really fun to shoot, and also like just the energy on set when like everything's kind of like, and we'd had like a break obviously from the strikes, so we'd all like gone away and then like come back again. So that was probably just like the most fun one to like be around. Yeah, it was nice.
I think we've heard through other interviews, through other cast interviews, that location with the trial, where the trial was held, that it may have been haunted. I feel like I've heard that from other cast members, that it's been haunted. And I'm just curious, since you've been through all of this now, can you confirm once and for all for the fandom, was it indeed haunted?
I feel like I'm gonna be like rude. I never saw anything. Like, I don't know. I'd never heard this. They didn't tell me this. I'm sorry. Maybe it's haunted in a way that only some people get affected by it. I don't know. It was definitely like, it's definitely like it's like a weird place for sure. But if like the theater hadn't been built there, I think it would have just been like an empty building. So I think some people are being dramatic.
Okay, all right. Fair enough. So the final question is, what projects are you working on next? Where can we find you next? Where can we support you? And how can we support you?
Thank you. The next thing, I shot something recently. It's a TV show called Death by Lightning. I don't know when it's coming out or where it's coming out. So that's all I can say, Death by Lightning. And I imagine it'll be coming out sometime next year. And it's about President Garfield.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Cool.
That's all I got right now.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming to our roundtable to talk about your experience, and yeah, this has been really fun. I really appreciate you joining us, and I hope to see Annika in season 3 if she makes it back as a ghost.
I don't. You know what? She'll be haunting. She'll be haunting. Bye.
Bye, everyone's nightmares. Thank you. Bye.